Neuroscience shows that the law of attraction is real, but it's not what most people think, and I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why. In a famous study, kittens were raised in complete darkness, but only exposed to vertical lines.
I've looked up this study. What an evil thing to do to kittens.
What they found is that when they grew up, they could not see horizontal lines. They would bump into tables and horizontal objects because their brains weren't wired to perceive them. Your brain works the same way.
We're not cats, lady. Our brains do not work the same way as cats.
Beliefs and labels that you were given in childhood become your filter for reality.
Cats don't have labels. They don't have beliefs and labels to filter their reality. They weren't bumping into the horizontal or vertical things because of their beliefs and labels. They biologically did not create the neural pathways to perceive them. The reason it was done when they were kittens was so that part of their brain could not develop during these critical development periods early on in the kitten's life. Gosh, so mean. The more I think about that, the more evil this experiment gets. But because they never created those neural pathways, these cats will never in their entire life be able to see either horizontal or vertical lines. That's not the same as us. If we grew up in a negative environment and we have these beliefs and labels that we attribute to ourselves, we may perceive the world through a certain negative lens or negative bias, but the neural pathways to perceive the good exist, which is why we can change the way that we think and develop more healthy thinking patterns. This isn't the same as the kittens who literally do not have the neural pathways to do so. If we were the same as those kittens, we could never change. We could never perceive anything that we would require those neural pathways in order to perceive, because it's not psychological, it's biological.
If you were raised to believe that life is hard or you're not good enough, your brain will work to confirm that that is true.
In a sense, yes, but you can change that. With the kittens, they would not be able to, they don't even have the ability to think like that.
Because it literally can't perceive anything else. You don't see the world as it is, you see the world as you are.
No, your brain can perceive other things because the neural pathways are there. The kittens cannot perceive horizontal or vertical lines because the neural pathways are not there. They never developed. This is not the same.
It's not just about your childhood either. Reality is a mirror for what you repeatedly consume and focus on. The reticular activating system in your brain filters out over 99% of your reality, and it works just like the social media algorithm. It only shows you what you think about, talk about, and focus on. This is why I'd be very careful of the content that you consume on social media.
So I agree with her here. Your reticular activating system does filter out the majority of what's around you. And what it does is it works to perceive things that you deem valuable. So if like you bought a red car, now you're going to see red cars everywhere. It's not because there are now more red cars around or you're attracting them to you. It's because now your brain thinks that that is something important. So it's going to notice it.
Because most of it is not there to help you get what you want. But that's not all, because the default mode network in your brain makes sure that you act consistently with who you think you are. So
it's an oversimplification.
If you identify as someone who can't focus, it will keep you distracted. If you identify as a fit and healthy person, it will make sure you get to the gym. That's the science behind why your identity becomes your destiny.
No, because your DMN activates kind of like when you're daydreaming or when you're doing self-reflection. But you can actively choose your identity. You can actively change the way that you think. You don't need to perceive yourself as somebody who is fit and healthy. You can look at yourself and be like, dang, I'm looking a little chunky. I need to get in the gym. So it's a little more complex than what she's saying.
Bottom line is that you don't attract what you want. You attract what your brain is wired for. Change the wiring and you change your reality.
See, how do we make that leap? How do we make that leap? Your reticular activating system isn't attracting anything. It's just helping you perceive what you deem as important. And so if you focus on a goal, your reticular activating system is going to allow you to see things that come up in your life to help you achieve that goal. But this got nothing to do with the universe attracting things to you. This is conflating a bunch of different things and misrepresenting the data and drawing false parallels and false analogies to, for some reason, convince you that the law of attraction is real. I don't know anything about this woman. I don't know if she believes all the woo-woo stuff, but even if everything that she said is true, the law of attraction is still false because it has nothing to do with the fundamental claims made by awakened bros and manifestation mommies that you can literally attract things from the universe. All this is doing is sort of explaining how your brain works. Why do all the manifestation mommies do this? They talk like this.